Welcome to Firearms of America. Today, as you guys can see, I have another pair of Daner boots for review. Now, this particular pair has been requested quite a few times already on my channel. This is Daner Caprine. And as you can see, it looks very unique. Not something that you would see in your typical hiking boot. But the question is, does it perform like a regular hiking boot? Let's find out. So, to give you a brief overview, you don't have time to watch the whole review, even though you probably should if you're interested in buying this boot. Good boots. They do run true to the size. Currently $150 on Amazon. The link is in the description below. There are a few different color variations. I don't usually talk about the design. I leave it for a personal preference, but they do look pretty cool. So, as some of you already know, this review is specifically for my ultimate survival boots section. Basically, if this was your last boot, could you trust it with your life? You put it on, or maybe you were wearing it throughout the day. I mean, as cool looking as this boot, you probably would be wearing it throughout the day. Taking it to work, wearing it on a date, going to the grocery store, whatever. And something bad happened. A war, natural disaster, and you had to run, you had to fight, climb, do all of these necessary things that are typical to a survival situation. Would this be a good boot to survive in? Well, let's find out. The way we do the judgment is based on 8 different criteria. Let's start with the criteria number 1. Of course, the comfort level. And in order to test the comfort level of every boot on this channel, I do a 3-mile run without stopping, a 5-mile walk right after the run, no stopping at all. The total wear time is about 7 to 8 hours. So, are these boots any comfortable? They are pretty comfortable. There are a few positive sides and negative factors. Let's start with the positive ones. They are fairly lightweight. And let me tell you exactly how lightweight they are. This is size 10. And as you can see, only 13.6, which is extremely impressive. And I always say, if you do want a lightweight boot that does not feel like you're wearing anything after running about 2 miles, walking for 10-15 miles a day, without feeling that you have that burden on your feet, get something under 20 ounce. Anything over 20 ounce, you start feeling that weight. Obviously, I'm not talking about 21, 22, that still is acceptable, but still, anything over 20 ounce, you will definitely feel it. 13.6 is well below 20 ounce, and that definitely feels very light whenever you're running. For me, running 3 miles, absolutely no problem. Feels just as good as my regular running sneakers. There's another factor that contributes to the comfort level, which is definitely a pro, and this is the flexibility of the bottom sole. As you can see, it is very flexible, so you can actually run properly in these boots without putting too much stress on your ankles, on your knees. Pretty good. I am definitely impressed. Okay, another pro factor before we move on to some cons. This is the inner sole, and I do like this inner sole a lot. It's a very basic Daner inner sole, nothing special. There's just a little bit of the shaping going on. I kind of wish there was a little bit more. However, I really do like the amount of padding that was implemented here in the heel. So, even if you are running and if you are tired and you need to put a little bit of stress on your heel, which transfers to your ankles and then the knees, you can definitely do it with this inner sole and still have a lot of that impact reduced by this heel cushioning. I do like it a lot. And probably worth mentioning that this is actually an OrthoLite inner sole, which if you are hot, if your feet sweating, this kind of kills bacteria and stops the odor. Pretty good, pretty nice plus. Okay, let's talk a little bit of the negative factors regarding the comfort level. Is that because as you can see, the shaft, the top part of the shoe of this boot, although probably it is more of a shoe and less of a boot, pretty much a regular fabric, just a kind of like a sock material, there isn't much of the support. Well, not much. There isn't any support. There isn't any ankle support here at all. And because there is really no heel support as well here, as you can see, this is really a very rare situation in a shoe where this side is so soft. Your heels, they tend to rise up from the insole, and that just creates that wobbly feeling whenever you are running. Not to the point where it is extremely uncomfortable or it creates some sort of fatiguing feeling, but still you do feel kind of weird running in these shoes or boots because of that wobbliness in this area, because it is so soft. So overall, comfortable, walk all day, definitely comfortable because of the lightweight, because of everything, just such a soft, everywhere is just everything softness. But at the same time, because it is all soft, there isn't much support going, and that also definitely impacts the comfort level. Up to you to decide. Let's move on to the criteria number 2, proofing and protection. And this is obviously where this boots lacks literally completely. No proofing at all. They are not waterproof. Obviously, as you can see, the tongue is not gusseted in absolutely any way. So as soon as you get in the water, as soon as you get a little bit of water on this fabric, you will get wet. On the plus side, of course, this fabric will dry up pretty quick because it is so, thin. Let's talk about the protection. Obviously, not much with protection as well. The toe is extremely soft. Literally nothing. Anything falls on your toe, you will definitely feel it. Absolutely no protection in the ankles. Even if it was going higher, it doesn't matter. This fabric would not protect you at all. It's just like wearing socks. And absolutely nothing on the heel, which is really strange because most of the times there is at least a reinforced heel on most of the boots, on most of the shoes, to kind of give you that support. Nothing here at all. From the bottom, you do have a very hard rubber, so it will protect you from some penetration. Nothing too crazy like nails, but sharp rocks would be pretty good. So keep that in mind. If you do want protection in the boot, this is not what you are looking for. Let's move on to the criteria number 3, quality and the design features. Now, quality wise, Daner, I have reviewed so many boots from them. I personally have a few pairs of Daner that I took on plenty of different hikes, different trips, and they have been holding up very, very well. Daner has been doing boots since forever, since 1932, so they do have a lot of experience, do have a lot of options in whole sorts of different varieties of boots. And judging by the reviews, most of the times you will find that Daner boots have good reviews. And this one is pretty new to the market, so there aren't a lot of reviews out there just yet, so it was kind of hard to judge by the reviews. But we will see. I'm pretty sure that overall, if people, with the right mindset and knowing what they're getting into, right? Very light, no protection, that's what you're looking for, you're gonna like it. Okay, let's talk about the design features. And here I talk usually about the lacing system, and this is really my absolutely number one favorite part of this boot. The lacing system is absolutely beautiful. As you can see, the hooks here are kind of material with some metal implemented. First of all, they do look good, which I don't always talk about the design, the looks of the boot, right? The design looks part of the boot, but because there is metal implemented here, what it does, it allows for these strings to slide very nice, very easy. So it's very fast to put these boots on, and the same thing to take them off. It just takes absolutely no time because of how just nice and smooth this lacing system is. I absolutely love it. So done with that, let's move on to the criteria number 4, outsole traction and stability. Now, as you can see, this outsole is more on the flatter side. There isn't really a lot of aggression going on. I test all my boots on a variety of different surfaces. I start with older asphalt, then the newer tarmac. I get on the sand, wet sand, dry sand, wet grass, dry grass, rocky road, some trail surface, and of course flat surfaces like marble and tile. Overall, this outsole is pretty good. It's not very good on the slippery surfaces like wet grass, so keep that in mind, just because there isn't really a lot of aggression going on. And I don't want to say really any aggression, but to me, this is not something I would take on a hiking trip, because if you are staying overnight somewhere, if you're doing, hiking with camping involved, usually most of the times in the morning you're walking through the trail, walking through the grass, it's very wet, and this is definitely very slippery on the wet grass because there isn't enough of aggression. So it is more on the flatter side. It's definitely very good on sandy surfaces. It's very good on flat surfaces like marble and tile. But I would not recommend it overall as a trail shoe or a hiking boot overall, because there isn't a lot of aggression going there at all. And of course, wouldn't even talk about winter and snow and ice situations, because really you're gonna freeze right away, immediately. Okay, so let's move on to the criteria number 5, which in fact is the temperature. And again, let's not even talk about the winter situation. This is nothing to do with winter at all. But testing it in Florida here, about 100 degrees outside and running in 100 degrees, definitely a lot of breathability, as you would think, because the material is so light. In fact, they do feel even lighter than my running sneakers, just much more breathable because of the way they're constructed. So pretty good for the hot weather overall. Whenever it comes to the criteria number 6, the sizing, they are true to the size, and I always recommend getting your boots in half a size bigger. Honestly, because this is such a soft toe and this is more of a shoe than a boot, in my opinion, you can go with your shoe size and you probably will be just fine. I wouldn't even recommend it taking it on a hike, going up and down the mountain, for example. That's really where that half a size bigger matters. But this, I would definitely not recommend taking it on a hike, because it's just not enough of the aggression on the outsole, not enough of the support in the ankles, not enough protection, just not enough. Okay, so let's move on to the criteria number 7, balance of application. Whenever it comes to your ultimate survival, would this be a good boot? Well, here's the thing. If you do prefer a very, very something light on your feet, if you do prefer being quick, being able to run fast, without any restriction of the movement, get yourself a pair of trail running shoes. This is really more of a dress shoe, in my opinion. Something that you would wear to work, to kind of add up to your fashion style, or something you would wear to date. Just wear it on a daily basis without expecting much from this. Don't get me wrong, I do like it overall, and I do like, obviously the design, the looks of it, and kind of the idea behind it, just leaving this top as soft as possible. However, I think Daner could have done a much better job reinforcing the toe just a little bit, just to give it the boot qualities, making this leather at least a little bit tougher to give you a little bit of protection on the toe. And definitely, absolutely, even if they didn't, definitely a must having this reinforced just to give you that hold on your heel so that your heel doesn't wobble around. I think that's an absolute must, and I really do hope to see a version 2 of these Daner Caprine boots released with that. So overall, I do like them for whatever they are, and they are not a hiking boot. They are not a survival boot. But as a shoe that you wear regularly, here and there, pretty good. And of course, the very final criterion that definitely is important as well is the price. Criterion number 8, the price. And the price is very steep. It's $150. $150. And most of the times, most of the boots for $150, you're actually getting a real boot with real protection, with some real waterproofing, and sometimes even with Gore-Tex, with the real outsole that can handle a lot of different surfaces, unlike this one, very, very specific, very flat surfaces that are not slippery at all, because just not enough of aggression. And of course, with enough of ankle support and ankle protection as well. So again, if you do like the looks of this shoe, boot, whatever you want to call it, and you think that you can get away with lightness and breathability, and this is what you want, you will like it. It's comfortable. Overall, it's definitely comfortable. If you're not planning to run in it, if you're not planning to walk in it for extended periods of time, you're definitely gonna like it. But if you are looking for something a little bit more serious whenever it comes to hiking, or if you're looking for an ultimate survival boot, then definitely look around some more, because in that $150 price range, there are a lot of fantastic options. In fact, the next boot that I'm going to review right now is going to be just that. So thank you very much, guys, for watching. This was the review of Daner Caprines for my ultimate survival boots section. Let me know in the comments below what you think. If you have any requests, drop them in the comments, and I will add them to my to-do list, and I'll try to get them as soon as possible. Thank you very much, guys, for watching. I'll see you in the next video.